From a speeding suspect with a fake gun and a backpack full of pills and a Chrysler that rammed its way into gridlock to a Maxima that tore through neighborhoods like it owned the road and much more. Here are the craziest moments when pit maneuvers show no mercy. David Arrington didn't exactly make the best first impression on April 20th, 2024. When a trooper pulled up behind his pickup truck on a rural Georgia road, the scene already looked off. One truck on the shoulder, one officer watching carefully, and an argument brewing inside the cab. By the time the trooper stepped out, the signs were all there. Heavy intoxication, refusal to cooperate, and an attitude that screamed bad decisions ahead. What the trooper didn't know was just how far those bad decisions were about to go.
Don't do it! 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 This has got to end. I can't let them back on the roadway.
The suspect had already risked everything, speeding through curves, dodging civilians, and smashing into a patrol car. But as he barreled south with no sign of slowing, our trooper was done playing defense. Once the dust settled and the truck lay on its side, officers found David Arrington still refusing to comply. A small bag of suspected cocaine was recovered from his pocket, and he declined medical treatment before being hauled off to jail. On the ride there, he tried to kick out the squad car window. In the end, this wasn't just a DUI stop gone sideways, it was a crash course in how fast things can spiral when someone refuses to face reality.
1050, got one overturned, Atlanta.
March 3rd, 2021 seemed like just another routine day on patrol until a Chrysler 300 SRT was pulled over on I-675 for an illegal window tint. The driver, later identified as Nikheim Greaves, didn't wait around to hear the verdict. The second the trooper stepped out, Greaves took off down the shoulder like a man with something to hide. Within seconds, a basic traffic stop transformed into a full-blown pursuit. By the time the chase reached the I-75 crossover, things got ugly. The Chrysler was barreling toward packed lanes, bumper-to-bumper traffic with nowhere to go. But instead of backing off, the driver surged in head first, and the chaos that followed was immediate.
Got one overturned, Atlanta. Bad wreck, interstate, set down.
Greaves was lucky to walk away from it. Officers weren't impressed. He had outstanding warrants from 3 different agencies, including forgery and parole violations. Only one hold stuck, but it was enough to land him in jail. Not bad for a guy who just needed a window tint fix. It was a quiet Saturday morning on December 21st, 2024, until a white Nissan Maxima left a GameStop in West Memphis with more than just video games. Behind the wheel was 27-year-old Dennis Davis, and according to reports, he wasn't running solo. When troopers got the call, it wasn't just about stolen merchandise, it was about shutting down a potential theft ring on the move. What followed next turned a simple retail crime into a chaotic high-speed showdown. With every twist through the neighborhood, that white Maxima became a bigger problem. Barreling through intersections at over 100 mph, it was less of a getaway and more of a reckless game of survival, and the trooper behind him wasn't backing off. The moment the suspect vehicle reached a major intersection, the game changed instantly. It was no longer about who could drive faster. It became a brutal test of timing, steel, and momentum.
Rolling over, starting at 10:16.
All 3 men, Dennis Davis, Davian Lawson, and Bobby Logwood, were arrested on the spot. The merchandise they tried to flee with recovered fully intact. Davis faces charges ranging from theft to reckless fleeing, while the 2 passengers joined him on drug paraphernalia and property charges. Sometimes the only high score you earn from a GameStop is the number of felony counts that follow you home.
Pit. Start 52.
It started like so many others, a basic bolo for a suspected shoplifter on a Georgia highway. April 6, 2024. A black Nissan Altima with fake Tennessee tags and a crumpled front end. Nothing about the car screamed high risk, but as Trooper Williams tucked in behind it, that illusion didn't last long. Because this wasn't a slow roll to the station, it was a high-speed performance with reckless stunts and zero concern for the innocent drivers nearby.
And we're now passing the, coming up at 238.
Copy, 238.
Excuse me, 237. Coming up on 237 in the right lane. Still in heavy traffic.
Yeah, go to the right lane, heavy traffic, 237.
Williams lined up for a decisive move, but the timing couldn't have been worse. With a civilian vehicle creeping into the danger zone, the opportunity vanished in a flash. One heartbeat too early, and the situation could have spiraled into chaos no training could fix.
Getting off at the 237, or excuse me, continuing on the 237. Then on the right shoulder.
Continue on 237.
10-4, they on the left shoulder, driving past the 237. Still going north.
Yeah, 237 going north, left lane.
They taking the 285. They taking 285. Getting off at the 285.
285.
Eventually, the driver made the kind of decision that makes troopers stop holding back. With traffic thinning and the Altima cutting toward the edge of the highway, Williams saw the opening and delivered a move that the suspect never saw coming.
10-4 west, 285.
Pit, 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 pit. Pit, pit, pit. Start 52. Pit, 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 pit. Pit, pit, pit. Start 52. Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
When the dust settled, two women emerged from the wreckage. The driver, later identified as Haley Christine Bott, claimed a broken knee and was placed into custody after being extracted from the vehicle. Her passenger, Crystal Lachelle King, followed commands and was later handed over to Locust Grove PD. Bott faced multiple charges, including felony shoplifting and using false registration. For everyone watching, one thing's clear. There are faster ways to get arrested, but few as reckless as this.
Pit, 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 pit.
It was late afternoon on February 26, 2023, when an orange Dodge Challenger caught the eye of Henry County officers flying up I-75 like it was late for something far more serious than dinner. Traffic was steady, sun still out, and yet this driver was already writing checks his wheels might not be able to cash. With the situation escalating by the mile, Trooper First Class Williams of the Georgia State Patrol got into position. What followed wasn't just a routine assist, it was the kind of takeover that leaves an impression.
Still on 235.
Speed only gets you so far. The suspect tried to dance his way out of trouble, zigging just enough to throw off pursuit, but Trooper Williams had zero interest in playing games. The next few seconds would show exactly why GSP's Piat reputation is what it is.
Pit, 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 pit. Pit, 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 pit.
When the Challenger finally came to rest, Nathan James Rogers didn't stick around. He bolted across I-75 like he was auditioning for a track meet. But it didn't matter, Clayton County deputies had him in cuffs before he even hit the grass. Rogers now faces the full weight of Georgia law for his high-speed gamble. In the end, he ran out of both road and options.
TVI. Then 1016, roll over.
It was Christmas Eve, but this driver wasn't spreading holiday cheer. He was doing 98 on I-40 and blowing right past the idea of making it home for the holidays. An Arkansas state trooper pulled him over near the 66-mile marker, probably expecting the usual excuses. But instead of license and registration, the man offered something far more suspicious: a fake name, a fake birthday, and a whole fake identity. Let's just say things didn't stay merry for long.
Passing the 63 westbound, speeds 107, increasing light traffic, or correction, moderate traffic.
At triple-digit speeds on an open interstate, danger isn't just probable, it's guaranteed. But as the trooper closed the gap, it became clear that this wasn't going to end with brake lights and a quiet surrender.
TVI. Then 1016, roll over.
By the time the vehicle came to its final rest, the cost of fleeing was irreversible. The driver, later identified as 33-year-old Brandon Bennett from Hampton, Virginia, was pronounced dead at the scene. Inside the SUV, a loaded handgun, drug paraphernalia, a stun gun, cocaine, and a small arsenal of phones pointing to a trail that extended far beyond Arkansas. When it comes to running from the law, especially while hiding this much heat, the road always runs out faster than you think.
Just jump the median oncoming traffic. Signal 4.
It was the day before Thanksgiving, November 22nd, 2023, and one Florida deputy found himself smack in the middle of a scene that looked more like a bad action movie than a retail theft call. A silver Nissan sat tucked behind a Kohl's its trunk, already loaded with stolen merchandise. But before any arrest could happen, the car lurched backwards, slamming into a marked cruiser with full intent. The suspects weren't just trying to escape, they were ready to fight their way out. Then came a moment that defied common sense. The vehicle made a sharp brake for the median not to stop, but to launch. What happened next was fast, violent, and put more than just the suspects in danger.
Just jump the median oncoming traffic. Signal 4.
10-4, jump the median on a 3264 India Comet.
Let me see everybody's hands right now.
1521, 2020.
Authorities later confirmed that the Nissan was packed with over $1,700 worth of stolen merchandise price tags still attached. One rear passenger, Jackery Devin Haney, was also carrying multiple types of suspected narcotics, hidden in everything from receipts to folded bills. All occupants were transported to UF Health and later booked with charges still stacking up. If this chase proved anything, it's that poor decisions behind the wheel can multiply fast, and innocent people end up paying the price. September 6th, 2024 started with a familiar scenario, a fast-moving SUV, a trooper clocking speed with radar, and a potential traffic stop on the side of I-55. But what came next didn't fit the usual script. Hazard lights on window slightly down, the driver played it cool just long enough to make things look normal, until it wasn't, because the moment Trooper Dunham stepped out, the calm vanished, and the chaos took the wheel.
John, bro, he's getting the wrong way on the interstate. Going northbound on the southbound side. John, bro, got a lot of unit behind me. Shoulder right now.
Every pursuit has a breaking point, and this one came when a lone trooper found just enough of an opening to act. What followed was fast, calculated, and brutally effective, the kind of move that leaves a wrecked SUV buried in brush and branches.
TBI.
It took nearly an hour and a phone call to 911 before officers tracked the driver down a mile from the wreck. The man behind the wheel was later identified as Calvin Hathaway, a wanted suspect out of Wisconsin. In his car, a BB gun disguised like a Glock marijuana and 77 suspected MDMA pills split between two backpacks. After medical treatment and a long list of felony charges, Hathaway's high-speed gamble ended with a $75,000 cash bond and one seriously damaged Mazda. If you've ever made a poor decision at 2 a.m., you're not alone. But on October 14th, 2024, one man in North Little Rock turned a bad idea into a full-blown police pursuit. Officers spotted a blue Dodge Challenger that had already ghosted them once before. This time, they weren't taking any chances, but the driver had other plans entirely. The driver, later identified as Cavan Polite, didn't put up a fight when it was all said and done, But his criminal resume did plenty of talking. He was wanted on 3 nationwide felony extradition warrants out of Texas, plus 1 local felony from Saline County. Add in felony fleeing multiple drug charges, no seatbelt, and even improper tint, and you've got a laundry list that makes you wonder why he even bothered getting behind the wheel. The female passenger, she got to walk. But for Polite, this turkey special came with a full serving of justice. It was the morning of July 3rd, 2025, and what started as a simple traffic stop at a quiet Little Rock intersection turned chaotic in seconds. The driver of a white Ford Fusion, later identified as Derek Baker, rolled through a stop sign like he had somewhere better to be. When the officer tried to pull him over, Baker gave the universal signal for no thanks. He ran a red light. Just like that, what should have been a routine citation kicked off a high-speed headache for everyone involved. Once ASP locked on, Baker tried to play the angles. His move off Woodrow was desperate and loud, no traffic, full throttle, and nowhere to hide. But the first strike from troopers missed its mark.
Woodrow and Landon came northbound, EVI was unsuccessful. Woodrow
Kavanaugh was the final stretch, but Baker wasn't tapping out. With smooth pavement, open space, and no one else around, it almost felt like he had a shot. But right as it looked like he'd found breathing room, the cavalry made its boldest move yet. And this time, it stuck. In the end, Derek Baker was taken into custody without further drama. His suspended license and lack of insurance didn't help his case, and neither did fleeing from police across half the city. His Ford Fusion was hauled off, and he got hauled in. This whole thing could have ended with a ticket. Instead, it ended with charges, court dates, and a fresh entry on his rap sheet.
TVO.
March 10th, 2025, a day that started with a supposed act of compassion and ended with a felony booking sheet. One woman claimed she was racing to be by a patient's side in their final moments. But if that were true, she picked the most suspicious way to show it, by flying down I-540 like the Grim Reaper was chasing her. The Arkansas State Police weren't buying the Good Samaritan routine. Just when it looked like this might drag on for miles, our trooper stepped up to stop the madness. With timing sharper than a scalpel, he made his move, but what happened next left no doubt this wasn't just about speeding.
TVO. Where you at? Hey, hands! 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 Give me your hands!
Once in cuffs, the suspect Hampton Higgins offered a tearful explanation about a dying patient and an urgent call from her job. But those tears dried up quickly once officers found the pink and silver boxes packed with weed pills and stacks of cash. Despite a brief detour to the hospital after jail, staff refused her. She was eventually booked for felony fleeing drug possession with intent and reckless driving. A reminder that sometimes what looks like empathy on the surface hides a whole lot of criminal baggage. It started with some casual drifting between lanes, the kind of sloppy driving that makes troopers sit up straight. On the morning of April 13th, 2021, a maroon Ford F-150 caught the eye of a Georgia State Patrol officer just west of mile marker 1 on Interstate 16. It wasn't just the lane dancing that raised eyebrows. It was the dark-tinted windows, the oversized toolbox blocking the rear view, and the erratic way the truck seemed to flirt with disaster. By the time the truck veered toward the ramp for Interstate 75, it became clear this wasn't a sleepy commuter or a distracted teenager. A moment came when the road opened up like a green light from fate itself. No traffic, no excuses, the kind of setup that doesn't last long, and the trooper behind the wheel knew exactly what to do with it.
Got a pit. I'm about on pit 10-12. 10-12, we're pit.
When the truck finally came to a rest, there was no suspect in sight. Just a crumpled vehicle and a whole lot of questions. A deep search led authorities to suspect Javed Ahmadi, a teenager from Decatur who had allegedly taken the truck after fleeing a group home. He didn't make it far, but he did leave a trail of chaos. Charges now include failure to maintain lane, improper lane change, felony fleeing, and driving in the emergency lane. For a kid trying to disappear, he made one heck of a scene. If you thought this chase was intense, wait until you see what's coming next. Click over to the next video and see how quickly things can spiral out of control. Appreciate you being here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.